What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Draft Hub and welcome in Carolina Panthers fans. As today, we're going to go through my 7th round 2026 Carolina Panthers mock draft. Now, this I feel like was a telling season for the Carolina Panthers. They went through their ups, they went through their downs, they lost teams that they probably should have beat, they beat teams that they probably should have lost to. We need to find a little bit of stability, but taking the Rams to the absolute wire in the wild card game was incredibly encouraging. Bryce Young probably played, all things considered, probably played his best or close to his best game as a professional. And it seems like he's kind of getting better as time goes on. This year was a really good year for him. And I think that it's imperative that the Panthers pick up that 5th-year option because I really do think they have something in Bryce Young here, but you really have to continue to surround him with talent. So this team has a decent amount of holes here. Some that I think they could be plugged up in free agency. I do think the need for a tight end could probably be filled in free agency. I do think maybe another wide receiver. They do have, obviously, Ted McMillan, who's probably going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. You have Jalen Coker, who has been fantastic when healthy as an undrafted free agent. And then, of course, you have Xavier Leggett. So you have 3 good wide receivers. Then, of course, you have Jimmy Horn Jr. as, a deep threat, too. But that's something that could be addressed in free agency. On the defensive side, obviously you need pass rush help. You need an inside linebacker help. You need potentially a safety. On the offensive line, a new potential hole to fill is left tackle with Ike Ekwonu. I think he tore his, I don't remember what it was. He tore his patella tendon, I want to say. I don't remember exactly what the injury was, but I know it's going to be a long, lengthy injury recovery process, and that's something that I don't think that could be filled in free agency this year. So I'm not saying that we need to use a first-round pick on a left tackle, but I do think a tackle is certainly necessary at some point in this draft. And we have a pretty much standard picks. We have 8 picks here in this. We have 156 and 157 back-to-back, which is pretty cool. So we're going to see what we can cook up here in this one. So I like to say this, like I like to say with everything else, that not every need can be addressed in the draft. I just want you guys to know I try my absolute best to, kind of touch every need or draft best player available that I can. So in this particular instance here at number 19, I'm really looking at inside linebacker. I know CJ Allen is huge here. Vega Awane is a really strong player here. I think center is a need, maybe potentially sliding someone over to play center could be something as well. But with Robert Hunt being, healthy at the start of next season, and then you have Damian Lewis, of course, on the other side, I don't really think a need for center for a guard is really that big. Let's see what some trade downs would look like just for, just to kind of play around with it. I would love to pick up another pick inside, the top 75 would be pretty cool. If we move down 9 spots, do you think we could pick up 59? It's probably a better chance we pick up 69 and maybe a pick later on. I'd rather get 59, though, to be honest with you. I think that would be pretty stellar, in my opinion. Maybe we could even get something like a 165. It says a 54% chance of being accepted, but I think even moving back this much, I know Awane on the board, some people are going to cry out for him. I understand that, and that does get accepted. So we actually get another top 60 pick and another pick on day 3 here in this one. So we're going to resume the draft, see how it shakes out. And CJ Allen is still here, and that's kind of exactly what I wanted to see at this point. I do think inside linebacker is a huge need for the Carolina Panthers, and you're getting an absolute dog in CJ Allen. Caleb Lomu would be pretty cool here. I'm a little lower on than the consensus on Lomu in terms of him being a starting left tackle at the NFL level. I just have some concerns with him for the most part. I think he's going to be a great player, but I think maybe on the right side will be a little bit better, or even as an extremely athletic guard. I don't know. To me, he just seems a little too light to play left tackle. That's just me. But CJ Allen is a player that I think is going to be fantastic at the NFL level, a supreme athlete, an insane run defender as well. Just going to kind of be your quarterback. He immediately steps in and he is your Mike linebacker. He's the quarterback of your defense. He's very athletic and he is good in coverage. He can be better. With pro level coaching, he definitely has the athleticism and the instincts to be way better. And I think with pro level coaching, you could definitely squeeze the most out of him as a coverage linebacker. But this is a massive need on the defensive side for the Carolina Panthers. And I think getting someone like CJ Allen would just be so amazing, especially since we traded down and now we have another top 60 pick I feel much more comfortable in making this pick. So CJ Allen is our first pick here. Ooh, Dylan Thieneman is on the board here. That interests me quite a bit because safety, I think, is a little bit of a bigger need than people kind of sort of realize it. Let's see what pass rushers are on the board. Let's not jump the gun here. Let's see what we could find. Romello Height, I like, but he's also going to be about 25 years old. And also, he only has one actual good year of production for the most part. Danny Dennis Sutton is a player that we could probably get a little bit further down the board. And that's probably someone that we're going to target. I like Joshua Josephs, a little too light for me as well. LT Overton, it's a player that I think is a touch overrated. He's a really, really solid run defender, but he doesn't really get after the quarterback at the rate that you would want, especially for someone that's tickling 275 pounds at 6'5". He's someone that I just don't think would be particularly a good fit for the Panthers here. Man, I'd really love. Let's take a look at the left. Let's take a look at the tackles that are available. Blake Miller, I'm really targeting around 83, I would say. I'm probably going to target JC Davis as that, maybe potential swing tackle or someone along those lines. Man, I really want to take Dylan Thieneman here at 51. I feel like that would be just an amazing pickup for the Carolina Panthers on the back end. They do have some free agents there. It's a position that definitely can be improved upon. It kind of seems like a little bit of a luxury pick at this point. Yeah, man, I think I could wait until 59 to take a pass rusher. I think I'm going to have to take Dylan Thieneman here if he's available at 51. I just think it makes a lot of sense. Like I said, on the back end, the safety could definitely. Nick Scott actually had a better season than some people want to give him credit for, but I still think this is a positional group that can be improved upon. And Thieneman is just kind of like a Swiss Army knife. And honestly, if Caleb Downs was projected to the Carolina Panthers so many times when they were bad at the beginning part of the season, why not Dylan Thieneman in the second round here? Like I said, we have another top 60 pick that we could play around with as well. I don't think it's a bad option here at number 51. Thieneman is an incredible player, great coverage player, really strong tackler, just kind of a jack of all trades when it comes to a safety. He was excellent at Purdue the last couple of years, transferred over to Oregon, had his best year on paper. 6 foot, 205 pounds, incredibly smart football player. He's someone that's just going to make your defense better. And at this point, defense, defense, defense. I know I want to put bodies around Bryce Young as well, but I'm not going to pass up on the best player that's left on the board at a position that's also at need. So we're going to go BPA, and it also helps the back end of the secondary. So we're going to take Dylan Thieneman here at number 51. I know some fans might not like that, and I do apologize, but it is what it is at this point. Eli Stowers is on the board here, but again, I don't think tight end is really the biggest need. I know that you haven't really gotten too much out of Jatavion Sanders at this point. I like Mitchell Evans actually quite a bit as, what was he, a fifth round pick this past year? And then, of course, you have Tommy Tremble as well. So I think they're kind of good at tight end, unless we want to get someone maybe down the board that could be a receiving option, because really those guys, JT Sanders is really your receiving option tight end, and he isn't really playing that role very well right now, but his career is still young. So let's see. We've upgraded the defense big time with CJ Allen and Dylan Thieneman so far. So let's take a look at what we could add as a tackle. I'm going to hold off to 83 or even 119. I'm really targeting JC Davis. He's a player that I like a lot, and I think that as the draft cycle goes on, he's a player that's going to get a lot more love because he is excellent and he's not being talked about enough. But we're going to go over to pass rush here. We're going to take a look at what we can get off the edge here. Derek Moore, a little too rich for my blood at 59 for Derek Moore. Danny Dennis Sutton is a player that I just keep coming back to. I think he's a really strong player. And I don't think this ranking is particularly indicative of how good of a player he is. He's someone that really made Abdul Carter look very, very good his last year at Penn State. He's just been an incredibly solid player overall. I mean, look at these 3 years. He's been excellent these 3 years. 6'4", 266 pounds. He has some really nice versatility as either a stand-up edge rusher or a traditional 4-3 defensive end. I mean, great run defender, great pass rusher. There's really not more I could say other than this is just a player that's clearly getting overlooked as the draft cycle goes on, because there's a lot of really strong pass rushers in this draft class. And I understand that. But Danny Dennis Sutton is going to be the player that I am going to take at this point here at number 59. And then maybe with the next two picks here, we could address tackle, and then we could also address maybe a center, depending on who's on the board, of course. So at 83, this is probably where I'm going to take JC Davis if he is here. He is here. Some people might say this is too early, but hey, listen, all I want to say is I think PFF is great, and I really enjoy using it for mock drafts like I've done with this whole series. But I will be honest with you. I do think a lot of their player rankings are a little wonky, and I think they get a decent amount of them wrong. But everyone is entitled to their own opinion, of course. But J.C. Davis has been a fantastic player, really overlooked in this in a tackle class that really isn't particularly too strong. Very, very overlooked. Now, I like Davis a lot, and the reason being is not only does he have phenomenal numbers, but I love the size 6'5", 335 pounds. Not only can he play left tackle, he could play right tackle if needed, but also that is a great frame to slide to the interior as well. So you're really kind of getting a stopgap in many different ways. This is someone that you could easily plug and play as your left tackle next season if Ike Ekwonu is not ready to go. Left tackle, he's played it his entire career, incredibly seasoned at the position. You're looking at well over 2,000 snaps at the position. Just a really strong player, super consistent, someone that is often overlooked. A mauler as a run defense, as a run blocker as well. And I think J.C. Davis is an exceptional pick here at number 83. You could argue with me, that's fine, but you obviously need offensive line help at this point. And Davis is a player that could be taken late on day two that could really, really help you guys out long term. He's an instant starter for me. That's just the way that I look at it. So let's take a look at who we've gotten so far. We did make that trade back. Don't forget, we got C.J. Allen, we got Dylan Thieneman, Danny Dennis Sutton, and J.C. Davis. I'm really liking the way that this is shaking out so far at this point. Let's see if maybe we could add. Let's see what kind of weapons are on the board. I'd love to add a center as well. Might be a little early for it. Let's see who's on the board. I like Pat Coogan a lot, but I don't know if I wait until 156, he'll probably be gone. I also don't think that he's a player that's going to be around that long either to 156 in the real world. I think that he put in a phenomenal season for Indiana. He's just a really solid player overall. He's a player that was great with Notre Dame, transferred to Indiana this past year. He was great for them as well. We can take someone like Logan Jones as well, sure. But again, you're getting someone that's a little bit of an older prospect. Coogan to me is more of that true mauling center that I feel like the Panthers haven't had in quite some time because, yeah, you had Cade Mays play there. You had Austin Corbett play there. Both of those guys are also free agents this year, and those guys also aren't true centers. You're getting someone in Pat Coogan that is a true center, 6'5", 311 pounds, also has that type of stocky, athletic build that if need be, he could kick out and play guard as well. He's a player that I really, really admire, and I think he's super, and he has played left guard. I didn't even realize that. Wow, 1,027 snaps at center, and he put in these numbers. Exceptional season for Pat Coogan, and he played really well down the stretch as well, too. So he does have the guard experience as well. I kind of figured he had that like stout, athletic type of build. I think Pat Coogan's going to be our pick here. I think he's going to be a natural center, and he could be a natural replacement for a Pat Coogan. For a Pat Coogan, sorry, for a Cade Mays or an Austin Corbett. So yeah, I'm going to take Pat Coogan here at number 119. I think it's justified. He's someone that we might see towards the back end of day two, to be quite honest with you. So now we have back-to-back picks. Ooh, we have back-to-back picks, and I'll be honest with you guys. I'm really liking some of the players that are on the board. Let's just take a look. We could probably add another inside linebacker. We could probably add another pass rusher. Let's see what pass rushers are on the board at 156. So we got back-to-back picks, like I said, and then we have 165 even. I didn't even realize that, too. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue to add weapons at this point because there's two guys that are on the board right in front of me that I definitely think could be weapons. Chase Roberts is a player that I like a lot. 6'3", 210 pounds, no block, no rock type of mentality at BYU. A phenomenal blocking wide receiver, big body type of guy. Also a red zone threat, a great contested catch wide receiver. He's someone that's a great route runner, and he's someone that you could just kind of throw it up there, and you're going to say, go up there and get it, and he's going to get it more often than not. Really nice back-to-back seasons for BYU. And I'm going to add another weapon for Bryce Young at this point. And I know people are just going to look at where these players are drafted and go, "Oh, I can't believe he didn't add a wide receiver until 156." I I don't know what people don't see, but the draft is 7 rounds long, people, and the majority of the NFL is made up of guys that have been drafted on day 3. It's just a fact at this point. These players can make impacts. Chase Roberts is a fantastic prospect, and I think this is a great addition. So we're going to add Chase Roberts here at 156. And then at 157, I think I'm going to wind up adding Tanner Koziel at this point. Koziel is a player that I like quite a bit, and this is your big time receiving option from the tight end room here. 6'7", 242 pounds. He also can block as well. He's not the best run blocker. He's not really going to be the best inline tight end that you have, but hey, that's what you have Mitchell Evans for. It's not really working out with JT Sanders at this point. He could be trade fodder for all we know. And Koziel is just a player that I think is super solid for the or would be for the Carolina Panthers as well. It's just a huge body in the middle of the field. You need big bodies. Bryce Young is 5'9", 165 pounds. You need big bodies in the middle of the field that are going to be able to go up and get those passes. And Koziel is a player that I think he was an unbelievable player for Ball State last year, transferred to Houston, had a phenomenal season for them as well. Really, really great season. Yeah, like I said, not the best run blocker, but can hold his own for the most part. 74 catches, 727 yards, and 6 touchdowns with a step up of competition. Before that, 94 catches, 840 yards, and 8 touchdowns. He was the leading receiver for Ball State in 2024. Phenomenal overall player. I think this is a good big time weapon in the middle of the field. And we are going to take Tanner Koziel here at number 157. Now we're at 165, and I'm going to add another pass rusher at this point. I'm probably going to add Eric O'Neill. I really like what Eric O'Neill can bring to the table here for the Carolina Panthers. Really strong pass rusher, really good run blocker as well. Has that 6'3", 266-pound frame, kind of like that tweener frame that we got from a Danny Dennis Sutton. I think he's a player that, again, is getting overlooked in this draft class as well, just because it's a really, really strong draft class for the edge rushing position. But a really strong season overall, really good player. Only 4 sacks this past year, but I think he became more of a well-rounded player this past year. Last year, 13 sacks. He was unbelievable. He really became more of a run stopper this season. He really kind of rounded his game out very, very nicely. And yeah, you got 6'3", 261 pounds. I think he's a really strong player. He has a chance to be a top 15 edge in this draft class. And if we're getting him at 165, I think it's really good value. So that's where we can continue to add to the pass rush here. We're going to add Eric O'Neill. And with our last 2 picks at 199 and 235, I'm probably going to look to add another linebacker, and I'll probably look to add maybe like a developmental corner or maybe another tackle, depending on who's on the board. That's really what we're going to look at here. So let's take a look. Maybe there's a defensive tackle we could even look at. That might be pretty good. Grayson Halton, Brandon Cleveland, man, these guys are so good in the middle of the field. I would love to add, just to continue to build the depth of the defensive line. Man, Zane Durant is a really strong player as well. Keyshawn Silver is a player that doesn't really do it for me. Gary Smith III is an incredibly strong run defender at this point. These are guys that we could probably add later with 235, though, so I'll hold off on that. Let's see, maybe we could add a corner, like I said, just continue to build the secondary as well. Jerry Wilson is a player that's actually very, very good. Great man-to-man corner as well. I know that the Carolina Panthers almost exclusively play zone coverage, but Jerry Wilson is a player that I do like quite a bit. Also, just an overall really strong coverage player as well. Great career at Florida State. Good frame as well. 5'10", 185 pounds. Could play in the slot as well. Kind of someone that played all over for the Seminoles this past year in the secondary and the years prior as well. Really fed off of Azariah Thomas last year as well. Just a really strong player, technically sound. And again, in a really good corner class, he's someone that kind of gets, pushed down the board here. But yeah, I'll add Jerry Wilson here. We're going to continue to add to the secondary, just build up the defense as much as we can. So we'll take Jerry Wilson here at 199. And then at 235, we'll probably add a defensive tackle. Maybe we could add another interior offensive lineman. There's a lot of different ways that we can go. We're going to actually take a look at all of them before we make anything. Bryce Betcher is a really good player like that. Muhammad Toure, Caleb Lambs Orr is a player that I often find myself coming back to. That might be the player that we go to, honestly, here. Caleb Lambs Orr just kind of feels like a Carolina Panther. I don't really know how else to describe it, but kind of feels like a Panther to me. Just kind of throwing it out there. Really strong coverage player. You're going to look at these. I mean, he was all Big 12 this past year from the inside linebacker position. Incredibly strong run defender. Really, really good coverage linebacker as well, and has a very strong missed tackle rate. He's a player that's been playing like this since the beginning of last year as well. Just a really athletic linebacker in the middle, 6'2", 230. He's got that prototypical today NFL size for the linebacker position. Can cover tight ends very, very well. Can cover running backs out of the backfield. Even has some reps this past year of covering wide receivers out of the slot. So I don't really know where else you can find athleticism like that from the linebacker position. People are starting to catch on, but Caleb Elamsor is an extremely strong player, and that's who we're going to go with here to end our mock draft. Like I said before, you're not going to solve everything in the draft. Hopefully, you can get some rotational defensive tackles. Hopefully, maybe you could continue to add to the offensive line. But I really do think that we covered a lot of our bases here in this mock draft. So we're going to take Caleb Elams or here at number 235, and that's going to end our mock draft. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Our 7-round mock draft went like this. We traded back 9 spots to number 28. We picked up 59 and 165 to move back from 19 to 28. At 28, we took CJ Allen. At number 51, we took Dylan Thieneman. At 59, we took Danny Dennis Sutton. At 83, we took JC Davis. At 119, we took Pat Coogan. At 156, we took Chase Roberts. At 157, we took Tanner Koziel. At 165, we took Eric O'Neill. At 199, we took Jerry Wilson. And then rounding it off at number 235, we took Caleb Elams Orr. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I see you in the next one.